So there I was, just minding my own business, putting out YouTube videos of spectacular quality, when all of a sudden, Loose Collector comes walking up to me and he says, "Dave, I love what you do, and you're very handsome. How would you like to have an action figure to review?" And you know what happened? I took it, and I threw it on the ground. And I said, "You can't buy me, action figure maker. My reviews are not for sale. I don't give positive feedback just because you give me a free..." Is that the Captain-Canuck figure? And he said, "Yeah, yeah." I was like, can I have a look?" He's like, "Yeah." It's like, it's really nice, actually. It's like, yeah, he said, you don't have to say anything nice. I just wanted to, give you the figure so you could, make a review, and whatever you say, it's gonna, put it out there for people. And I was like, yeah, the paint jobs, that cherry chrome is really nice. He's like, yeah, you don't have to say nice things. And the articulation's like buttery smooth. He's like, yeah, just say whatever you want. And I was like, okay. He's like, you don't have to say nice things. I was like, I will say what I want to, toy man. So here's the review. So welcome, folks, to the model behavior review of Loose Collector's brand spanking new Captain-Canuck, who was a character I wasn't actually familiar with at all. When we get outside of Marvel and DC, my comic knowledge is spotty at best, but I do know a nice action figure when I see one. And this is nice, but with caveats, because I'm initially very, very taken. But we're going to go through it a little bit at a time, because that's how reviews work, Dave. And then I'll tell you what I like and what I don't like. Again, welcome to the world of reviews. Only been doing this for 5 years now. So just at the box, the initial impression, looking at the graphics on the box, the pictures, the presentation, that's lovely. Nothing groundbreaking. It's not like it's Jada Street Fighter or anything like that, where they've really done something extra special, but it's nice. It's a perfectly serviceable presentation. If you wanted to keep him in the box, he'll look the business. Nice comic book artwork on there as well. Windows shows them all off. Good stuff. But then we got to take him out of the packaging and see what this dude is really all about. And initial impressions are admittedly very nice, and actually a bit of an improvement on some previous qualities of Loose Collector figures. The first thing I noticed is 100% the articulation. That's like the biggest point I wanted to get across before I start hyper-focusing on other things and forgetting all about what I wanted to say. ADHD brain there for you. The articulation is buttery smooth, which honestly, I was a little bit surprised about, because occasionally you gotta give these guys a hot water bath, or at least a little blast with the heat gun. And even though this was perfect out of the box for me, I still recommend doing that, because it's just good action figure etiquette when you get a brand new figure, especially one that is a little bit more high-end, like this one is. But honestly, once he started moving, which for me was straight away, the elbows and the shoulders and the knees, they're just smooth. They're smooth, like smooth by Carlos Santana featuring Grammy Award winner Rob Thomas from Matchbox 20. That's how smooth they are. I was real impressed with that. So now that I've got that point across, let me go on to the other finer points of this. So the initial just eyeball test, boom, striking. I can't give Loose Collector credit for the design, because it's whoever invented Captain Canada, or Captain-Canuck, if you will, the old knucklehead over here. But just looking at him, he is going to be... I know, I've got a mouth ulcer, I'm not going to do the pop. He is going to be popping off the shelf, because this cherry red with the pearlescent white, it does look nice. It does look nice. Because you could have got away with just doing a flat matte white paint, but instead it's this lovely pearlescent, shiny white. I think that's where a lot of the price goes, or the cost goes. I imagine. I'm not a toy maker. I don't know for sure. But the quality of the paintwork, that definitely adds up. I'm sure it does. Then similarly, with the rest of the paint, we got the nice brown for the leather harness, and it's even got a bit of a leathery texture as well. It's not just smooth. It's got that sort of hide kind of feel to it, like it is a different material. And it is raised, it's sculpted. as well. So it's not just painted on, it is actually lifted out. So it feels like it's a separate piece of his costume. Nice touch. Again, I say nice touch. I would also expect it from Loose Collector. The bar is at a certain level with this kind of quality sort of figure and this price point that you're like, yeah, that ought to be sculpted. But still, don't want to miss out on that. And so let's just make it easier for myself. I'm going to work from top to bottom. The head, the sculpting is great. I like what's going on here with the mask, and the blue of the eyes is quite striking. It sets off nicely against that gorgeous cherry metallic red of the old maple leaf there. And going down to the mouth, going to do a little compliment sandwich. The mouth is great in as much as it doesn't have that Marvel Legends style lipstick. You know what I mean? Where sometimes in order to differentiate the lips, they make them way too dark and it looks like the character's wearing lipstick. Here, much better, much better. It looks much more natural. That's great. What I do feel though, the only thing that's like missing from this figure, kind of a spoiler, that's the only thing, is that I wish there was a rah going into battle kind of face. You know me, that's exactly, I'm Mr. Rah going into battle, but not in real life. I'm a lover, not a fighter. But yeah, since he's got his batons and he's defending Canada. Right now, Canada needs defending, folks. I don't know why. That's not a threat to Canada, by the way. But yeah, the stoic face is great. I mean, you've got to have that. Every figure, like, you have to have a neutral face. But having an angry battle face, I would have really liked. What I do like, though, is even though it's relaxed, he's got a very RoboCop kind of vibe to him. Very Officer Alex Murphy with that face. So I do like that. And the actual movement on the head is great because you've got the double ball joint. It's the kind of thing I normally forget to say. Got a double ball joint at the head and the neck. So you've got a nice bit of movement and rotation there. That's really good as well. So you've got the nice articulation. Going down the body, butterflies. You gotta love the butterflies. And what's great about this is I almost paused for a second. I was like, wait a minute, does this have butterflies? Because they're so nicely integrated into the torso. I thought for a second, like, you haven't put out a figure in 2025 without butterfly joints. He hasn't. It's just they actually disappear behind the harness on his chest. That's smart. I'll give you, boom. That's nice. That's real nice there. And speaking of nice, Hasbro, are you? I hope you're listening. I really do. Because also, just, hey, how's it going? This is how you want to do torso waist articulation. We got the lovely ball joint swivel up here, and then we got the waist egg cup. It's an egg cup swivel, so his waist sits inside of his pelvis. But also, what's handy is that Loose Collector could have got away without doing that because he's wearing this belt, which would have hidden an ugly disc waist swivel. But by having it as an egg cup, it just gives him so much more range of motion. It's just, that's how figures ought to be in the year of our Lord 2025. This is how we do it. So that's really lovely. Arms, double jointed. Biceps, elbows. Sorry, not double jointed biceps. You know what I mean. Double jointed elbows. Also, the Canadian maple leaf there, the paint is like spot on. It's clean. That's the word I was looking for. It is a clean paint job on the maple leaf. That's real nice. It's not raised or indented. It's just the paint on there, but it's smooth. It's a real, I gotta stop using the word smooth. I gotta have like a smooth count next to me. I won't do that. That's too much effort. And then going further down the arms, you can see that the hands themselves are on is it a vertical pivot. So rather than like the side to side on the joint, it's up and down, which with the tonfas, with the batons, probably does give him a better sort of angle to get into more dynamic martial arts type poses. So that works pretty well. Belt, lovely, nice bit of gold paint on the C there. I was about to say G, and I was like, why does he have G? It's a C, Dave. It's so obviously a C. It's two C's for Captain-Canuck, you doofus. And then going around, yeah, just nice little pockets and pouches and compartments on here. I actually like the fact that they're sculpted on and they're not like removable, because I'm a Mezco collector. And honestly, sometimes I'm like, guys, I know it's a sign of quality that you can remove things, but I spend my life picking up things that drop off. I'm looking at you, Mezco Bishop. So actually, I'm like, I only want them on there So just keep them on there, would you? Then going down the legs, the sort of chainmail, fish scale sort of a texture, I suppose. It's kind of like a hexagonal beehive kind of a texture, which is real nice. And I just realized, of course, it's making the maple leaf symbol on his back and his stomach there. Well, there you go. Congratulations, Dave. You noticed something there. That's a nice design. I kind of dig that. And also, his backpack is removable, and the tonfas slip in there, so you can have him just posed, like put up your dukes and have the tonfas in the back there, or with his open Spider-Man, like, oh, what's going on? Is that maple syrup? Eh? That's my Canadian impression. Forgive me, Canada. Anyway, going on further down, the different shade, the darker metallic red, really sets off the cherry very nicely. Got the calf swivel and the thigh swivel as well. And then, of course, got a little articulation on the feet there. No toe articulation. Again, Year of Our Lord. Kind of like having toe articulation. I'm a bit of a toe bro. Some people don't like having it. They feel like I want to just keep the boot looking clean. I like to have the option. But overall, there's really nothing that I can outwardly pick apart from it. How about you? Can you see anything? Because I'm always, the little hilarious skit at the start of this video aside, I'm normally a little bit more critical on things that I'm given, because I'm like, no, model behavior is not for sale. I'm going to say a bad thing. But I mean, really, like, besides not having an extra shouty face, which I would have really liked, there's nothing I can pick out like, oh, boo, no, minus points. Nah, it's great fun. Good figure. Nice presentation. Got all the different hands as well. So you don't have the extra head, but you got the hands. You got the batons there as well. Nice bit of paint work on there. Nothing. Yeah, I just noticed nothing spilling over the sides. Again, clean, real clean. So with all that being said, let's give this guy a grade. So for the Loose Collector Captain-Canuck figure, I'm going to give this guy 4 out of 5 stars. A really solid figure. It's great to see companies doing figures outside of Marvel and DC, so we can really have a deep collection of all kinds of comic book characters. So for that, Loose Collector's doing a great service. And folks, that does it for my review of Loose Collector's Captain-Canuck. What do you think about this figure? Comment below. Let me know. And if you like what you see here and you want to see more, then hit that like button. And I'd really appreciate that, gang. Thank you so much for watching. And until next time, keep displaying model behavior.